Hey, and welcome here to my new video. This time I'm talking about why I use 24p in all of my videos. I would say it's a common question, especially when you're a beginner, what frame rate to choose, and there's actually not a perfect answer for that because it really depends on what you're shooting for, usually. But for me, I decided that 24p just works best because of the following reasons. And the first and also the most important reason for me is the quality that I get per frame. So here's a simple calculation. So let's say I would shoot in 30p with 100 megabits per second. Then every frame has around 3.3 megabits per second of quality, right? So I don't get that much detail per frame. But when I shoot in 24p, I get 4.16. Oh, there was a little insect. But when I shoot in 24p, I have a bitrate of 4.16 megabit per second. So I have around a third more quality or details in my picture than if I would shoot in 30p. So that's the first reason here why I shoot in 24p, and that's also the most important one. And the next big reason, and also a reason why I publish in 24p, is that when I record the videos in 60p and 60 frames per second, that I can get a better slow-mo. So for example, when I shoot in 60p in 4K and I publish my videos in 30 frames per second, then I can slow down the video by just 50%, right? But when I publish my video in 24p after shooting it in 60p, then I can easily slow it down up to 40%. So I get even a better slow-mo than in 50p. And I mean, in a lot of shots, it doesn't really make a big difference. But sometimes you have a shot that is a little bit too short to slow it down just to 50%. And when I can slow it down up to 40%, it actually fits to the music. Then it doesn't happen so much, but sometimes it's just better. But of course, there comes also a small problem with that, with shooting in 60 frames per second. And this is simply that the first point that I mentioned doesn't count anymore. So you actually get less bitrate per frame, of course, when you shoot 60p. But luckily, a lot of cameras do something against it. So for example, in the GH5, it records in 150 mbit per second when you shoot in 60p. Of course, you can also shoot in 24p with 150 megabit per second, but at least I have a little bit more bitrate when I shoot it in 60p than with a normal 100 megabyte per second or megabit per second camera. And also the GoPro, the Hero 6, does a good thing here. So when you record in 60 frames per second with a GoPro, then it records in HEVC. This is a compression format that compresses the files 40% more than H.264. So that means that you also get a bit higher quality per frame than if you would record with the same bitrate in H.264. The last point I want to mention here is actually not that important anymore, because we're living in a digital age, and that means that nearly every device today is capable of playing both NTSC and PAL format. And that would be my last point here, simply because usually you have like the NTSC in the USA and the PAL format in Europe, but 24p is the international cinema format, so it can be played everywhere. So I mean, today it really doesn't count that much anymore. It wouldn't be a decision-making point for me, but especially when you shoot for clients and they are not 100% sure if they just want to publish the video on social media or maybe also in cinema in the future as an advertising clip or something, then it's probably better to shoot in 24p because it can just be displayed perfectly on every device, in the cinema, on the internet, just like everywhere. So just the last point here, even if it's a pretty small one, it's also one point to consider. I hope you liked this video and I was able to help you a bit with the decision of what frame rate to choose, especially if you're a beginner. And if you like this video, then please hit the subscribe button now. It really helps my channel to grow so that I can publish new videos like that in the future to help you to become a better filmmaker. So yeah, I will go to the beach now, swimming a bit, and after that it's working time for me. So I hope you have a great day too.